Welcome to Kautilya Careers. Today we will discuss current affairs. Any competitive examination, current affairs plays very crucial role, right? Okay. UPSC Civil Services, Telangana Public Service Commission, Andhra Pradesh Public Service Commission, Banking Service Examination, Staff Selection Commission, at any level of examination, current affairs will be asked almost 15 to 20% of the questions. Apart from this, current affairs plays a crucial role to improve the general studies knowledge also. So generally there are various categories under current affairs. Aspirants generally feels that current affairs is day-to-day happenings. Absolutely, it is day-to-day happenings. However, the background of the event is also important. So a systematic or regular study for 3 to 4 months of newspaper as far as current affairs is considered, definitely it makes the aspirant master in in general knowledge as well as general studies also. So generally the various categories under current affairs are persons in news, national news, international news, India and other countries, that is India's bilateral relations with other countries, sports, science and technology. These are the important components as the candidate has to observe in day-to-day developments. Let us see first of all persons in news. As I said initially, the preparation for current affairs is also helpful in preparation of general studies and well as GK also. Now we will see with the latest development as in this angle. Recently the Supreme Court Collegium has recommended Thakur recommended the Thakur's name as the next Chief Justice of India. So he will be the 43rd Chief Justice of India. Now here we will see how the general studies and GK can be developed out of this particular news. General studies. So general studies, generally we will have polity, economy, geography, basic science, history, all these subjects. Now the appointment of CGI is directly related to polity, that is Constitution of India. Now we would see how it is related with polity. So the new Chief Justice of India will assume power in the month of December. Now before that, what is the relevant articles with the Supreme Court of India? From article 124 there are relevant articles are there for Supreme Court of India. So what is the method of appointment of Chief Justice of India? The method. So here now at present the new Chief Justice of India was appointed, hence it is essential and it is very important to know the mode of appointment. So recently big developments happened regarding the appointments of Chief Justice of India as well as other judges of Supreme Court. Through 99th Amendment Act, Parliament has established a special body called NJAC, National Judicial Appointments Commission. National Judicial Appointments Commission. So according to this body, the appointment of judges is again dependent upon another 6-member committee. However, at later time, Supreme Court of India invalidated and said that the NJAC is null and void, and it re-established the collegium system. So here I am talking about only the appointment to the judges. So what kind of changes that happened in very recent times? The first one is NJAC was established through 99th Amendment Act. Now again this NJAC was declared as null and void, and again the previous system, that is collegium system, was re-established. So in this regard, this news is very important. In what way, what happened to this NJAC system, and what in its verdict Supreme Court has told about the NJAC is very important. So with one news, that is the appointment of the new Chief Justice of India, has led it to study the structure of the Supreme Court of India, appointments and the rest of the things. Now this is area of general studies. This is very much useful in the polity also. In any examination, constitution is part and parcel, and judiciary is another part and parcel. If carefully anyone follows the pattern of the examination, another important development is here. Supreme Court of India has declared that NJAC as null and void. It means NJAC was established by Parliament of India, and the body that was established by Parliament was declared null and void. That means, is it possible to Supreme Court of India to declare any law made by Parliament as null and void? So the simple answer is yes. Yes. So Supreme Court can declare any law that is made by null and void, any law that was made by Parliament null and void. When generally Supreme Court will do this? So again there are limitations to the Supreme Court also. Any law that was made by Parliament should be incompatible with the Constitution of India. If any law violates the Constitution of India, or if it doesn't fall under the purview of Constitution of India, the Supreme Court declares that particular law is invalid. So the same case has happened in case of NJAC. The same situation arisen in case of NJAC, National Judicial Appointments Commission. So under which article Supreme Court declares that any law that was made by Parliament is invalid? Under Article 13. Under Article 13, Supreme Court declares that any law is null and void if it violates the Constitution of India. So this is known as judicial review. So what is the judicial review? Judicial review is any law that was made by Parliament of India should be incompatible with the Constitution of India. If it violates the Constitution of India, it will be declared or it will be checked by the Supreme Court of India. So Article 13 gives the Supreme Court of India the power of judicial review. Actually, in the original constitution, the word judicial review was not directly given. So it is the merely interpretation of Supreme Court of India that the judicial review power was existing. This is merely an interpretation of Supreme Court of India. Now, judicial review, from which constitution the judicial review was taken? It is from US Constitution. From US Constitution, the India has taken judicial review. Apart from this US Constitution, Government of India also adopted fundamental rights. So all these parts will fall under general knowledge. Sources. So we have lot of sources. In writing the Constitution, the framers of the Constitution had approached almost 60 constitutions, and they had taken the best in those 60 constitutions and incorporated in the Constitution of India. For example, as I said just now, judicial review and fundamental rights are taken from US. Emergency provisions are taken from Germany. Directive principles of state policy had taken from Ireland. Parliamentary form of democracy had taken from UK. So these all will fall under general knowledge category, or even general studies directly under polity. Apart from this, since this news is related to appointment to the Supreme Court, so first CJI of India, H.J. Canaria, or so when the first Supreme Court was established in India, so East India Company has established Supreme Court in India for the first time in Calcutta. So under which article, under which act this first Supreme Court was established? Under Regulating Act. Under Regulating Act, for the first time Supreme Court of India was established. So all these will fall under general knowledge category. So whenever any student come across regarding the appointment to any important constitutional body or any important office of India, so that particular development should be supported by the adequate backgrounds. In this way, if anyone prepares current affairs, that makes that particular student mastery over general studies as well as general knowledge subject. So the same kind of rules and regulations can be applied in the other areas, that is economy news, national news. Okay, for example, if we see the national news, so in most of the times in the newspapers, much of the news will be hyped, where the those news are not much important in the examinations. For example, in recently elections were conducted for Bihar Legislative Assembly. Now, in what way the questions can be asked on this particular issue? So the number of assembly seats in Bihar, 243. Okay, the party that emerged, the coalition that emerged victory, Grand Alliance. Apart from this, there are other questions where most of the general public will ignore, where those are very much important to the aspirants. For example, what is the speciality in these elections? There are two specialities in these elections. The first one is for the first time in the Bihar elections, candidates' picture was printed in EVMs. candidates pictures. This is the first time. So the question may be asked like this: in which of the following elections for the first time candidates picture was printed in electronic voting machine? Second, for the first time for an assembly elections military was used. Never before military was used in assembly elections. So Bihar has got this credit. So these kind of questions, they are national issues, this can be asked. And coming to the economy news, it plays very important role. For example, recently under Swachh Bharat, in order to provide financial assistance to Swachh Bharat, Government of India has taken a decision to impose 0.5% cess on all services. 0.5% cess on all services. So now, what are the various issues that can be discussed in this current affair on in this development? What is Swachh Bharat? Swachh Bharat is clean campaign. When it was started, it was started on 2nd October 2014. Our question may be asked, so since it's the imposition of tax, okay, so what is service tax? The tax levied on any service is the service tax. When the service tax introduced in India, service tax introduced in India in 1994. On how many services initially the service tax was imposed? Initially it was imposed only on 3 services, but at present beyond 110 services had fallen under the purview of service tax, right? Okay, for that matter, what is actually a tax? What is actually a tax? A tax is, in order to receive certain services, the beneficiary has to pay something. So taxes are again 2 types: indirect, direct. So what is an indirect tax? What is an indirect tax? Indirect tax is a tax where the transfer from one person to other person is possible. For example, service tax. For example, sales tax. So it will be levied on shopkeeper, but the shopkeeper transfers this particular sales tax onto the customer. So levied on one person, paid by the other person. So these kind of taxes are known as sales taxes. Again, these taxes are very important because recently Government of India is planning to introduce GST. GST means goods and services tax. So this is a one for all indirect taxes. Government of India wants to replace all these indirect taxes with the GST. So through 122nd Amendment Act, already bill was introduced in the Parliament. So an empowered committee was also set up in order to bring the GST. So Finance Minister already announced that the GST will be implemented from 2016 April 1. So all these are developments regarding the indirect taxes. Now what are the direct taxes? Direct taxes are those taxes which is not possible to transfer on the others. So generally people on their income will pay income tax. Income tax is a direct tax. Or companies will pay taxes to the government on their profit, that is known as corporation tax. So all these kind of taxes are direct taxes. MAT, minimum alternative tax, is also a direct tax, where the companies which are working from special economic zones, instead of paying corporate tax, they will pay minimum alternative tax. So all these are latest development regarding the economy. Now sports news. generally in sports news, the aspirant should focus on records rather than dates. For example, we will see, right? Okay. Now, recently, in the first test match between India and South Africa, Ravichandran Ashwin has created a record. What is that record? The record is he took 150 wickets in just 29 matches. In his 29th test match, he took his 158th wicket. With this, he has become the fastest 150 wicket taker from India. Now, he broke whose record? In fact, before him, in 34 matches, two Indian spinners, that is Erravalli Prasanna and Anil Kumble, had taken 150 wickets in 34 matches. So with this, Ravichandran Ashwin has broken the records of both Erravalli Prasanna and Anil Kumble. Thank you.